Hello and welcome. I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for another card making tutorial. Today we're going to create a gatefold card. It's a not so scary Halloween card created with My Monthly Heroes September 2019 kit. I've got some add-ons to it and we're going to do coloring and ink blending. It's a really fun project. Be sure to go over to my blog at jennyhalldesign.com and grab the free PDF tutorial that has lots more details. All of the information is on screen as to how we're going to make our gatefold card base, but it basically, you cut a regular size card base to 5.5 by 8.5, and we just score the two outside ends to where they would fold in and make a 4.25 by 5.5 A2 sized card. And then we're going to create two die cuts to go on the front. Here's a look at the project for the card kit, and it's so cool. All those little tiny images are individual stamps. So not only does it suggest what you can put inside each one of these little cabinet doors or little cubbies, there's multiple choices. So the two panels that we cut out, that the measurements were on the screen, those are going to be die cut. And now I'm going to add some brown colors with Distress Oxide inks and a blender brush and just kind of make it look like it's a wood cabinet door. And we're going to also, later in the project, we're going to add some blue and green colors to make it look like these are going to lay over glass. And so it's going to not be important that we need to make this look perfect. Now I am working on the Waffle Flowers Water Media Matte, which is my favorite work surface, and especially for ink blending because no ink is wasted. All the ink that I'm dabbing off, I can pick it back up. It works perfectly. Here's a tip for placing on this I guess this is the bones of the cabinet, the framework of the cabinet. I first used a panel that was 4.25 by 5.5, kind of got it situated on the stamp because this stamp is made to fit an A2 sized card perfectly. And then I laid that together in the MISTI and then picked it up with the door. That really helped me to be able to get the paper in exactly the right place. And to hold down the paper, here's another tip. I used those tiny little circle magnets inside the hollowed out areas of the stamp, and it was enough to hold the paper in place. Very cool. I'm stamping today with Memento Tuxedo Black ink. That's a dye ink, and it's alcohol marker friendly. It's because we're going to be doing some Copic coloring or some alcohol marker coloring. So I've selected all of the little objects that are going to go inside those cubbies. Some of them are going to look like drawers and others will look like they are kind of behind a piece of glass. Now here's another tip. Be sure to clean these images before you take them off the door of the MISTI because tiny images with stamp cleaning can get a bit tedious and I tend to lose stamps if they are cleaned in that manner. This is a Tombow dye-based fine line marker, and I'm just running over any of the lines that didn't get stamped as continuous. I'm speeding up the coloring here, and I will catch you at the end of the coloring and give some more details on this project. As you can see, there is quite a lot of coloring on this project, and that's something that I enjoy and it relaxes me. But you could use this design and work in a more monochromatic way, and it would look just as lovely. I switched over to colored pencils at some point because I needed to get into those really tiny images. And then I stuck with the colored pencils to show you that you can use them as a background filler instead of using the alcohol markers if that's all you have. So you can see here that those two squares that were uncolored, I wanted them to have kind of a green glow because that's where it says Happy Halloween, and I want it to stand out away from the rest of the project. So using the colored pencils, I was able to get pretty much the same look as I did with the alcohol markers. Now, my alcohol markers are not very plentiful. I have basically 3 markers for every color, and that works out just perfectly for me. So if you have a limited number of colors in your collection, then this might be something that you can work with for a success. I'm using a white gel pen to go in and add highlights, and that same black marker to go over some of the stamped lines that kind of got a little chalky looking while I was working with the colors, especially colored pencils. Now here is what we're going to do for the very front of the card. Those 2 fold over gatefold pieces, those flaps on the front, I'm doing the coloring exactly the same way that I did the die cut pieces and using cracked pistachio and broken china. So it's going to give kind of like that glary, non-see-through look of a cabinet door. And that is going to go with these 2 die cut panels right on top. Easy peasy. I'm using some 1/8 inch double-sided adhesive from scrapbook.com, and I'll finish it off by putting a piece of twine to hold these cabinet doors together. There's lots of different ways to engineer a mechanism to keep it shut, but I thought this would just be the easiest. Now, if you've made it all the way to the end of the video, then congratulations, and you have my undying thanks. And if you are watching within the first few days that this video is premiering, go over to my blog at Jenny Hall Design, and if you leave me a comment, you'll be in a drawing to get this card. So I really appreciate you guys sticking with me, and I'll see you next time.